Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for another vlogmas video. And today I am going to be doing my You Choose My TBR for 2024. As in past years, I am going to have 5 book pairings, and between the two, with some kind of common theme between the two of them, I would like you guys to decide which book I'm going to read the following year, because I have a lot of books and it's about time I decide if I'm going to read them and keep them, read them and discard them, or get rid of them completely because I'm never going to get to them. So I'm not going to waste too much time. I want to dive into the books that I am considering reading for 2024, and you can let me know down below which one I should choose. Starting off, the first pairing I have has 2 actual themes involved, which I didn't realize. But the first one is that I missed the boat. These were very, very popular books that I just never got around to reading, even though I bought them at the time they were popular. And the second is they both have to deal with murder and death. And that would be The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold and If I Stay by Gail Forman. Both of these books were massively popular. Both of them have movies that I've never seen. And I feel like it's about time to rectify this. And honestly, I didn't realize If I Stay is so short. And also, this is signed. I have a signed copy of this book. Not so much this one, but this one is signed. Never read either of them. So The Lovely Bones is about a girl who was murdered in December of 1973. And she is dead and you're kind of following her, I believe, trying to recap or figure out her own murder. I'm not 100% certain, but I do know that this is a very triggering book. Since its release and as well as the movie release, I've heard that this is pretty triggering for a lot of people. And If I Stay is a similar book where a young girl gets into a car accident and she is in limbo and has to decide whether or not she will return to her body and stay on Earth, if I stay, or if she will move on into the afterlife. And I'm assuming there's some tragic story along with this as well, like why she's debating the two. So both of these are following ghosts of some sort as they're viewing their life and their death. So I missed the boat on these, but I do think it's about time that I read them or get rid of them. This is actually the second copy of The Lovely Bones I bought. I bought this when it came out, and then I got rid of it, and then it came back into my life because I think somebody else bought it for me, and I still never read it. So yeah, choose between these two. Am I gonna read The Lovely Bones or am I gonna read If I Stay? The next category that you are gonna be choosing from is an arc I've had on my shelf for a little too long. The contenders for this one are Traveler by L.E. Delano. Obviously, this wasn't even this is an old arc. This was from 2017. It's been on my shelf for a long time. And then Tell Me an Ending by Joe Harkin, which has only been on my shelf since March of 2022. And actually, it was probably 2021 because this came out in 2022, so it was before 2022 that I got this. These are the 2 arcs that I've had on my shelf for the longest and that I wanted to get to eventually. Tell Me an Ending is a psychological / sci-fi book where you are following a world where you can have your memories removed in order to help process or move on with your life. And it deals with grief and secrets and identity. And the main character, I believe, or at least one of the main characters, is a psychologist who's learning how to reinstate the memories that were taken and the complications of that, as well as the secrets that she's uncovering because of the technology. And it's pitched as Never Let Me Go meets Black Mirror, both of which I love. So I do think this one is a good contender. For if I don't read it, I still may keep it around to read. Whereas Traveler is a young adult novel, and this also has a small psychology aspect as far as the dream world. So the main character meets a boy and she ends up finding out that they're both travelers and they can slip into dreams and go into alternate realities. So it sounds really cool. And again, I've had this for a very, very long time. So much so that I've followed the author, and just a month ago, she announced that she got the rights back and they're being re-released with new covers as well as an audiobook. So that should tell you how long I've had this book on my shelf for. So an arc I've had for way too long. Please choose between Traveler or Tell Me an Ending. For the next category, we have fairy tale retellings. And the contenders for this one are Spelled by Betsy Show, or Queen of Hearts by Colleen Oakes. And I feel like you would already know exactly what these two are about, but they're also kind of similar in the way they're being retold. So Queen of Hearts is a Queen of Hearts retelling. It is seeing how before Alice, the princess to Wonderland, is dealing with the darkness that is encroaching her kingdom and eventually how she becomes the Queen of Hearts. Whereas in Spelled, we're following a princess of Oz named Dorothea, and she is trying to fix her own problems, such as, you know, keeping her kingdom safe from the Wicked Witch and also finding a prince to rule with. And I feel like this is definitely more of a love story type of one. But the reason I had this is because I won it on a giveaway, and it's pretty thick, and I have the sequel as well. I won both books in the giveaway, and I've never read this one. And then this one I bought because I heard somebody pitching it that they really liked it and then never read it. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Queen of Hearts Wonderland retelling. Spelled is a Wizard of Oz retelling. And you guys could pick between these two for which one I should read. For the second to last contender, this category is an author I'm giving a second chance. Both of these authors, I have read their previous works or a previous work and wasn't super thrilled, but there was something there enough that I'm willing to try another book by them. And for this one, I have Rosemarked by Olivia Blackburn and Arusha in the End of Time by Roshni Chokshi. So for Rosemarked, I actually just read The Midnight Thief by Olivia Blackburn this year because it was picked for my book club. I was one of 2 members to read the book and 1 member to show up for that meeting. So we didn't really have a book club that month, and it wasn't my favorite. Midnight Thief, you know, does have praises on the back here. But this was actually the first book I bought by her because it looked so beautiful. I just love this color on the cover, and it's very unique, I think. I don't see a lot of pink books. So I really wanted to read this one. And I don't exactly know what it is, but it does have a main character who's a healer, and there's a plague going around, and there's also a war going on, and there's a soldier and the healer meet, and I don't know if she's gonna heal him or if she has like her secret. I'm not exactly sure, but it's pitched as something with a political edge in the vein of An Ember in the Ashes, which I loved, so I'm hopeful that I might like this one too, even though Midnight Thief was not my favorite book of the year. And for Arusha, this is a middle grade series, and again, I won this book. So I could have had another category of books that I won, but maybe that'll be next year. So Arusha is by Roshni Chokshi, and I read The Star Touched Queen as well as its indirect sequel, which was A Crown of Wishes, and I liked A Crown of Wishes a little bit more, but neither of those books really stuck out in my mind. But Chokshi has a very beautiful writing style, and I'm wondering if it'll work better in middle grade because I felt like the young adult series was just too flowery and overwritten, and it didn't land really well for me. But I would love to give her another try and actually enjoy something. I particularly think the middle grade would be fun and easy, and this follows a 12-year-old named Arusha, and they are basically on an adventure to determine if this museum trip that they're going on has an actual cursed object and what would happen if that curse gets out. It sounds really cute and fun, and obviously has a lot of Roshni Chokski's culture in it. So both of these are BIPOC authors, and I would love to like one of these books. So for an author I'd like to give a second chance, please pick between Rosemarked and Arusha. And lastly, we have 2 books that are a contemporary with mental health rep. And that is Words on Bathroom Walls by Julie Walton and A Tragic Kind of Wonderful by Eric Lindstrom. And these are also 2 books that I am wondering if the mental health rep holds up because it has been a few years. I believe they were both in like 2017, yes. And they have different mental health stories. So A Tragic Kind of Wonderful follows a 16-year-old who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and her struggles with trying to deal with that and have friendships and trying to just be okay with that world. Words on Bathroom Walls follows a male teenager who was recently diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he is starting to fall in love with a girl and is really afraid of letting her know that he has been diagnosed with schizophrenia and that he can't always trust what he sees or hears. and this one seems a little bit more like a love story. I'm not sure exactly about this one, but what I'm gonna say is that both of these disorders, schizophrenia and bipolar, as someone who's a mental health professional and diagnoses for a living, 16 is a pretty young age to be diagnosed with either of these. There's definitely more markers for bipolar in teenagers than there are schizophrenia, but schizophrenia usually comes when your brain is fully developed, and that's well into your 20s, usually like 21, 22, 23 is when you can really get diagnosed with this. So I'm interested to see again the rep, because both of these are pretty extreme diagnoses for teenagers to have. You're more likely to see like a disruptive mood disorder in a teenager as a precursor to bipolar than you would see as bipolar. And not that it's impossible, but again, your brain chemistry is not done developing, so it's really hard to say for certain that these would be accurate. So I am interested, and again, these are two that even if you pick one of the two, I may end up reading both anyway because they're pretty quick contemporaries, and I feel like as a mental health therapist, I need to know if I can trust these books and if I can recommend them or get rid of them because they're going to do more harm. So for the last pairing, please pick between Words on Bathroom Walls and A Tragic Kind of Wonderful. And that's it for my picks for 2024. I feel like I have a pretty good selection this year. They're all books that I'm somewhat sort of interested in, and I may actually start filming my video earlier in the year for once because I keep putting that off. But I'm excited for you guys to pick which books I should be reading, and you can feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Let me know what sounds interesting to you, and if anything sticks out or something that you've wanted to read, maybe reach out to me, we can buddy read it. That'll be motivation for me for sure. So until tomorrow with another video, I will see you guys then. Bye!